check. Phone personally and ask their previous employer about the resume. Sometimes you can say to the candidate, you can say, you know, I'm going to phone your previous employer and ask about everything on your resume. Is there anything that you would like to add before I call anyone? They go, oh, and then they'll start to tell you the truth. And what will happen is you'll hire better and better people, you'll build a better and better team, you'll make a more and more valuable contribution, and you become a more successful manager. So the job of the manager is to organize the work so that people produce at a higher level, so that the company gets a higher return on its investment in human capital. That's your big job, and you do this with delegation. So we say that the manager's job is to grow people. It's interesting, when I work with IBM, they will start off and they will hire a person, as I told you, and train them for a long time. So they hire a person, and this is the person's income. This is their income when they start. And as they train them, they increase their earning ability. They increase their value. They increase their ability to make a contribution. And each year, they increase their pay. They pay them more each year. Now, why do they pay them more? Because they have too much money? No, they pay them more because they're more valuable every year because they're training them all the time. Now, over the course of your lifetime, your goal is to become more and more valuable as well so that you get paid a high amount. And everything we talk about today is to increase the speed at which your earning ability goes up. And that's our goal. And the way that you grow people is you delegate responsibility to them. The more responsibility you delegate in an intelligent way, the better people become, and the more valuable they become to your company. When I was a young manager, I would call people into my office and I would give them a job to do. Auditory, I would talk to them. And many times the job was not done, or it was not done properly, or the wrong job was done. And then I realized that many people are visuals, and they don't understand the job until they write it down. From that day to this, I say to my staff, first of all, gently, I say, write it down. And then a little bit more, write it down. And then a little bit more, write it down. Because I am amazed. People say, yes, I will do that. And then I'll say, did you do it? They say, oh, I forgot. Did you write it down? No, I forgot to write it down. And that, I don't know about you, but that makes me unhappy. So, if a person comes into my office, I say, where is your writing pad? And they say, oh, and they go out and they come back, and I said, now I'm going to give you a job to do, and I want you to write it down. So I will give it to them slowly, what I want them to do, when I want them to do it, how we will measure results, and they write it down. I say, now, read it back to me, exactly what I just told you. This is 1 minute later, okay? And when they read it back, in 50% of cases, they will read it back wrong. What they heard sitting right in front of me and what they wrote down was not the same. So therefore, always have people repeat it back to you. You will be amazed. The first time you do this, you'll say, I can't believe it. You think that you speak clearly, don't you? You think you're intelligent and that you speak clearly, and that when people hear you speak, they understand. And when you ask people to feed it back, you will be amazed at how many times they did not understand what you said. Or, because of this noise, they heard something different. Staff members are very clever. They think only about getting out of work. And so they're constantly looking for ways to delegate the job back to you. So the rule is this: when you're walking and talking to your staff, you keep your hands behind you. And they say, can you do this for me? You say, no, you do it for me. That's your job. People need to know when the job is to be done. When people are absolutely clear about the job, then they can win. Because they know, because the deadline is like the finish line, they know how to win. They know when to do the job. If a job is important, set a deadline that is before your deadline. If the job has to be done by Friday at noon, then you tell your staff member that you need the job done by 5 o'clock on Thursday. Make sure that you build in a reserve. Now here is another interesting point with regard to your staff, is that they will test you to see if you are serious or not. So you'll agree with a staff member that the job is to be done by Thursday at 5 o'clock. Yes, agreed, Thursday, 5 o'clock. Okay. Then they'll come to you with this big look at about 3 or 4 o'clock on Thursday, and they say, I have this meeting to go to tonight, and I haven't got the job done, and could I do it tomorrow or next week? And you say, no. You said it would be done at 5 o'clock. It must be done at 5 o'clock. But I will have to work late, and I was going to go to the movie, or I was going to watch television. And you say, no, the deadline is tonight. It must be done tonight. And you don't budge. You are firm on your deadlines. And once they've tested you a little bit, and they realize that the deadlines are firm, then they will complete the job on time. But if they test you a bit and you say, okay, you can do it tomorrow, you can get it done next week, then they know that you are easy to push. They know that you're a soft manager, and from then on, they will never do the job on time. Praising people is one of the most powerful of all motivators. Praise, as we'll talk about in the last session, has a great influence on people's emotions. When you praise people, they feel happy about themselves. When you praise people, their brains release endorphins, and they want to do even better in the future. The very best parents praise their children all the time. They just keep praising their children all the time. They keep telling their children how good they are. The very best bosses praise their staff all the time. But if you do it yourself, you must always do it yourself. If you delegate it to someone else, then soon that person will learn how to do it properly. So here's the rule. It's called the 70% rule. The 70% rule says simply, if someone else can do it 70% as well as you, delegate it to that person. Now, role overlap in the world of work is where two people are given the same job. And this is the way it works. Here is one job description. This is person A. And here's the second job description. This is person B. But they are both responsible for part of the work. Now, what happens in this case, this is a failure of management to define the jobs clearly. What happens in this case is that both will do the job, or neither one will do the job. And so your job, when you find there's role overlap, that both are doing the job, or the job is not getting done, is to redefine the job clearly so there's a separation between the two jobs. Each job must be assigned to a single person. You cannot assign a job to two people without causing confusion and demotivation. Now, the second company-created problem is called role underlap. Now, role underlap is where you have two jobs, but part of the job here is not assigned to anybody. Everybody is expected to do it, but it's not assigned as a responsibility to someone else. Wherever you have role underlap, people just don't do the job. And so your job then is to go and redefine the job so that the whole job is assigned to a separate person. So this brings us to this point. The manager is the single most powerful external influence on performance. There are many internal influences, but from the outside, you have the most powerful influence from the outside. So 2 is the most powerful internal force that determines performance is the person's level of self-esteem. Now, your level of self-esteem is the most important part of your personality. The level of self-esteem is determined by how much you like yourself. If you really like yourself, you like other people. And we find there's a direct relationship between self-esteem and performance. Is the more you like yourself, the better work you do. And the better work you do, the more you like yourself. Because you see, if you do good work, you feel like a winner, and your self-esteem goes up. If you do good work, you feel happy about yourself, and your self-esteem goes up, and this motivates you to do more good work. Well, if you practice these behaviors, which are all learnable behaviors, if you practice them, soon you develop the habit of building people up whenever you go to work. And when you develop the habit of building people up, you will become a great manager, and you will be given more people to build up. You will be given authority over more and more people, because you will become a great motivator. Sometimes when a company runs into trouble, they hire a person who has a reputation for building people up. And they put that person in charge of the company, and the company solves all its problems. Now, the second way of building self-esteem is through appreciation. And appreciation tells a person that what they have done is valuable and important. Appreciation tells people that they are valuable and important. And how do you express appreciation? You simply say, thank you. You say thank you to anybody for anything that they do for you. Always thank people. Thank your staff when they do work. Thank your staff when they complete a job. Thank your staff when they take on an assignment. Thank everybody in your life, and every time you say thank you, it's like a spark plug. It causes people to go. The words thank you cause people to cause their self-esteem to go up. It causes endorphins to be released in their brain, and they feel happy. When you listen to people closely, their self-esteem goes up, and they like themselves more, and they feel happy. They feel positive about themselves. So listening intently to people when they talk is a very important part of management. Biggest mistake is that we as managers, we think that what we say is more important because we're higher up. So we talk too much, and we interrupt, and we override them when they're talking, and we say what we want to say. The biggest mistake in meetings is managers talk all the time because they're the most powerful person. But really good managers just listen carefully and nod and smile and ask for more information. And the more you listen quietly to your employees, the more devoted and loyal they become, the higher becomes their performance, and the better they do their job. Well, let me just summarize by saying this, is that you are some of the best managers in Poland. The quality of management in Poland has improved every single year since I began coming here some years ago. The best companies have the best people. The second best companies have the second best people. The third best companies will soon be out of business. And you are some of the best people building some of the best people in some of the best companies in Poland. And so I wish you all the best of success. Thank you.